We're going international, public transit style. That's right, I'm taking public transit from Los Angeles to Tijuana, Mexico for just like a cheeky overnight, get something to eat, have a few laughs, see some of the sights, and really see how these two cities stack up. What's there left to say except vamonos? My journey actually started on the D line, LA's own subway. Did you know LA had a subway? If not, you haven't seen the 1997 Tommy Lee Jones Anna Heche vehicle Volcano. Well, this subway takes you right beneath Union Station. All I had to do was ride this escalator to the lobby of Union Station. I'm also going to be tracking how much I spend and the distance that I travel, so you can get like a total of the time and distance and money I spent on this trip. Man, the smell of that Subway sandwich shop in the station, that thing is powerful. Anyways, I got a little bit of time to kill before my Amtrak train, which will take me down to Santa Fe Depot in San Diego, California. So I figured until then I'd take a little stroll, walking over to El Pueblo Historic Monument and Olvera Street for a little taste of Mexico. I love Olvera Street, but in a few short hours, I'll be seeing the real deal. The thing is, like, Olvera Street is the real deal. It was founded in 1781 by Spanish colonists in the same area as Yanga, which was the largest of the Tongva villages. And over the decades, it was sort of left behind as the city grew around it. It was populated by various waves of immigrants from Mexico, China, until they started the construction of Union Station in like the 20s. Then it sort of got a revival and became the living history, shopping, cultural, and art plaza that it is today. It is like a sad reflection of how we treat pedestrians in the city, that there's this like grand promenade entrance that's essentially like inaccessible, and instead like foot traffic is funneled through these like temporary barriers next to the construction site and then across a crosswalk that has like pretty poor visibility to drivers. But you know, I'm not going to let it stop me from enjoying the beautiful lobby at Union Station, all decked out for the holidays. The board says my train is on time, platform 12B, so I guess I'll head down there. It's departing in 10 minutes. Man, I love this corridor. When I'm walking down this corridor, I know I'm in for a good time. So the news is the train is on time. It's just like on the other platform. Thank God I saw an Amtrak person talking to some of the other people who were waiting, because I would have straight up just like not gotten on my train. I would have watched it glide away thinking it was going somewhere else. So we're here at the end of the platform, just walking to the other platform here. And with that, I climbed aboard the Pacific Surfliner headed south en route to San Diego.
Welcome aboard Amtrak 770, continuing southbound Pacific Surfliner service to San Diego.
I mean, I literally just said that, but okay. So we're leaving the station a little bit late. I guess there was another train that got like pulled out of service for maintenance. So it's a 3-hour trip down to San Diego. We're about 6 minutes after our scheduled departure time, plus an additional slowdown. So who knows how long it's going to take. Either way, I'm chilling. I have no plans. I don't even have like a hotel reservation for when I get there. I figured I would just like walk and figure it out. I got what I think is an ocean view, because this is the west-facing side of the train right now. So unless the train makes a 180, I should get a good view. Okay, so the train does in fact make a 180, which like, I don't know why I didn't realize that, because I walked around the end of the tracks. I don't know where I thought the train would have gone. I don't think I've ever taken this stretch of track between LA and San Diego, but there was a period that the tracks had been washed out from erosion, so this is really my first opportunity.
Tickets out, folks, please, tickets out.
Great, thank you. And the train departed not too late. We left the station, saw some people exiting the Metrolink train, and made our way through the city past the stunning Los Angeles River and its crystal clear waters, with panoramic views of the stunning snow-capped San Gabriel Mountains. We curved eastward, heading a little further inland. This footage is sped up, I bet you can probably tell. And just like that, we glided the friendly rails generally southward out of LA County and then into Orange County. Here's the Anaheim Regional Transportation Intermodal Center. And then one of Southern California's famous freeways. Don't worry, the train didn't start going in reverse. I switched sides of the train so I could be on like the ocean view side. As we rolled into Irvine, California, the city that is a corporation. And then past these office park farm combos, which I think are pretty funny, like conceptually. And then deeper into Orange County. Look at these beautiful green hills into San Juan Capistrano, the jewel of the Missions. Everyone's out and they have these old buildings right here up against the tracks. It looks pretty nice. Until we finally meet the coast again in Dana Point. Look at those emerald blue waters. Can you believe how beautiful it is? Can you believe it? Past these oceanfront homes. Look at the sun glittering off of the waves. I mean, this is what train travel's all about. I caught some surfers and then my camera kind of freaked out for a second. There's me. Put that on a postcard, why don't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching the San Clemente Pier. If the pier is your station stop, now is the time to gather your belongings. Make your way safely towards the lower levels, prepared to exit. This is San Clemente Pier, now arriving.
Is that so cool that the train just like stops right there at the pier? How convenient. We continued along the coast past these iconic jugs of sorts, past these wetlands where the water gets really close to the tracks. You can see why the erosion kind of undermined the tracks.
This is Oceanside Transit Center, now arriving.
The San Diego skyline emerged, indicating we were nearing the end of this leg of the journey. Wow, San Diego, what a town. So here's some of the stats. The trip, this Amtrak ticket, cost me $36, okay? And it took 3 hours and 15 minutes. Even though we left a little late, we pretty much got there on time. Another leg of the trip complete. Here I am in San Diego, beautiful San Diego. You forget it's a city. Second biggest city in California by some metric, by population maybe, but it couldn't be nicer. Bright, sunny, heading into the historic Santa Fe Depot station. We arrived about 15 minutes after our scheduled arrival time. No big deal. After a really pleasant ride. So I'm gonna go check out the interior of the station and then figure out how to get onto this local train, the UC San Diego Blue Line. So I'll probably have to buy like some sort of Metro card. Here's a look at the map. There we are at the Santa Fe Depot, and I'm going to take this blue line all the way down, straight down to the San Ysidro border crossing on the U.S. side of the Mexico-U.S. border. That's one of the light rails. I'm going to be taking one of the trolleys, not the actual one because that one's going north. And here's the interior of the Santa Fe Depot station. Beautiful. Look at those hand-painted tiles, so glossy. Love that yellow color and those chandeliers with the Santa Fe Railroad logo. I was getting kind of hungry. I also bought a water because somebody told me you can't drink the water at the station. I ate a RX bar, not sponsored. Wanted to save my appetite for Mexico. Turns out I didn't need to buy a card. You can pay just using Apple Pay right from your phone. So that was actually pretty convenient. And I didn't have to wait long before my train arrived. It actually wasn't that one. It was this one, this next one. So I climbed aboard. This lovely, narrow little trolley has inward-facing seats as we left the Santa Fe Depot into downtown San Diego and towards the
San Ysidro International Border via downtown San
at
Diego.
street level through town, and then south past some of the military stuff, more of the industrial parts of San Diego. And before I knew it, the skyline of Tijuana, Mexico emerged over the horizon. At the final stop, I hopped off the train, just kind of looking around until I saw this sign that said Mexico. And if you remember, that's my destination. And so to get you up to speed, this is the stats. We're talking about a little over 4 hours total travel time. The light rail was 250, and here we are to Mexico. You can see the border wall, which is kind of crazy. I might share my thoughts about that later. But I walked down this nice landscaped path into Mexico and through the turnstiles. No turning back now, baby. I didn't record in the actual port of entry, but not much to show. It looked like an airport, kind of. They gave me one of those visitor's permits, and they scanned my bag in the x-ray. And like 4 minutes later, I was there inside the great nation of Mexico. And first thing I did was get something to eat. And this cat came to greet me. He knew I had good energy. Meow. And look at how beautiful these are. 2 tacos on big corn tortillas. Came with different salsas and some pickled onion. Here I got the chile relleno, just a big chunk there. There you can see the inside. Get a little look under the hood. Hello. And I absolutely smashed those things like in no time. Taco la guerra. A taco? Just for me? Anyways, I am so pumped to be in Mexico. I love Mexico. I got the carne asada, I got the chile relleno, each with a thick scoop of avocado on it. I'm trying to be a little aware of like where I'm going. I have no idea where I am. But yeah, it was really good. The carne asada was just like one piece of steak. The salsas were like really good. Had a choice of flour or corn tortilla. I went with the corn, and it was really good, man. The chile relleno, just like a big hunk of cheese, really lives or dies by the cheese. The cheese on that one was so good. Anyways, my first meal in Mexico of the day, tacos de la guerra, carne asada and chile relleno taco with corn tortilla. That's a cinco a la cinco. First thing I gotta do is like find a place to stay. Don't have a hotel booked or anything. I'm just sort of like walking to the city center near like some of the historic stuff, near some of the markets. I want to just position myself at like a decent place near where I want to be. I passed the Costco, and under this giant freeway that they're building that's supposed to bypass the traffic of the border to get people to the airport easier, I took this footbridge over the river. That's just like crazy, this giant infrastructure project. But I continued walking towards the city center down this footpath that takes you from the border crossing into like the shopping districts and stuff. You can see all of the dental clinics along the way. Wow, a little market street, just like Olvera Street, except this one's the real deal. I don't know, who am I to say what's real and what's not? I'm just walking towards this arch. It's already getting kind of late and kind of dark. There's a few places I want to try to eat. I want to go to like a couple markets, but I think the first thing for me to do will be find a hotel, maybe put some stuff down. It's funny, there's a lot of like pharmacies, advertising, over-the-counter Cialis, dentists, I guess catering to like American medical tourists. I found my way onto Avenida Revolucion, which I think like, you know, is sort of a touristy area. Getting my bearings, and I found this holiday market, which lucky me, because man, they had a lot of amazing looking things to eat, and this one in particular caught my eye, or should I say caught my nose. I obviously have like things I have to do, but I couldn't help myself. These things smelled so insanely good. I had to stop. There was like a lot of different fillings you could choose from. Zarzamora, lechera. I asked what those were and discovered that my Spanish is like a lot worse when I'm actually like talking to people. But all right, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna walk through the market here, and then I'm gonna find a hotel. I promise, because it's starting to get dark. That's really good. God, man, the flavor of it is like very yeasty. Almost tastes like a liqueur. It's like so yeasty and chewy. A little denser than I thought it was going to be, but really good. And toasted on both sides. I stopped filming because some guy came up to talk to me, but the gordita de nata de relleno de Zuli, right there, that's a cinco, hasta cinco. And man, all of this food just looked amazing. Everything was So colorful, so fun. There were carnival games, there were carnival rides, people were playing loteria. This part of the market is permanent. It's not part of like the holiday market. So I just walked through here, and man, the colors, the Christmas decorations, it was so lively. It was so fun. I did stop into just like a supermarket. I wanted to pick up some water and just get a few little things. It's always fun shopping in supermarkets in other places, in other countries, just like seeing the stuff that they have. What a treat for the senses. Wow, Tijuana is a city, man. 1.7 million people. Don't let them tell you otherwise. It's a city, and it feels as dense as like New York City in some places. All right, back on Avenida Revolucion. I couldn't help myself but stop at a supermarket, looking around at like the produce, at like the cleaning supplies, and eat this little red mandarin, I think it was called. Oh, pretty good. Night fell on Tijuana, Mexico, and things started to feel a little familiar. It's so funny. I'm just like back on Hollywood Boulevard like I always am. I guess there are so many places in the world that have tourist strips just like this. Museo del Taco. And I wonder how much of it is adopted from the outdoor shopping style, merchandising, aesthetic that was developed in the US and then adopted in other places like Mexico, Spain, Thailand, or if it really is just like the universal language of capitalism, a style, an aesthetic, set of strategies to draw people in, to spend money that was like developed concurrently in a bunch of different cities in the world. I couldn't tell you. It is actually pretty cool around here. There's like a lot of vintage shops and like tattoo parlors. I mean, it really feels like the Hollywood Boulevard area. And then I caught this punk band doing a show, and they were great, they rocked, but this is footage of me like 2 days later, spoiler alert, back in the US in Santa Monica on the promenade. Does this not look like exactly the same? And it gets you thinking like how silly the concept of a border really is. Like before the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, the U.S. state of California was part of the Mexican territories, one political economic area, and you can see that in how the ranchos are the same, the missions look the same, but the secessionary action from Texas in the unstable years after the Mexican Revolution dominoed into a full-on war between the U.S. and Mexico that ended with Mexico ceding 55% of its territories, including California, and the people that were once Mexican citizens were told to either leave their land or be naturalized into the US, a country where, at the time, slavery was legal, and also a lot of them ended up having their land sold out from under them because their original Mexican deeds weren't honored by US courts. And before the colonial era, migration between what's now Baja California and United States California was common because of the arid climate that required people to move between these areas seasonally, following things like game and water availability. It's not like there's any sort of natural barrier like a mountain range or a big river. They're two physically, economically, and culturally connected pieces of land. The border is literally just an imaginary line drawn on a map, marked in stones, and now a metal fence that was put there to benefit land speculators and slave-owning ranchers and farmers who wanted to increase the power of the slave-owning class in the years leading up to the US Civil War. While slavery was technically abolished in 1865, it still happened in California, and the border helped. Things like the credit ticket system forced Chinese immigrants into debt slavery, and up until the 40s, the US government's Bracero program invited Mexican workers to the north just to then do like military actions once they started organizing against exploitive labor practices. Like, what a perfect system when you think about it. A country creates a zone where certain people are stripped of their legal rights, then uses economic domination and also like CIA plots to destabilize their economies in neighboring countries, creating these conditions where people need to cross the border to work in your country for below market rate because they don't have legal protections. Like, what a sweet deal for people who own giant companies in the US. But I don't know, the whole thing seems a little ridiculous to me. Anyways, then there was a parade, like a Christmas parade. It's probably really busy, not because it's like a random Thursday, or maybe downtown TJ's just always lit like this. Either way, I'm having a blast. And that was it for night one. I called it an early night and woke up bright and early to get some menudo for breakfast. I found this place that was making fresh tortillas, and how wouldn't you want to stop there for a piping hot bowl of soup with all the fixins, some fresh onion and lime, and look at that big stack of delicious, chewy tortillas. Warm, salty, good. I went here just because it like looked really cool. Like the restaurant just looked cool. It was still pretty early, so I went for a walk through the busy downtown section, and I kept walking until I found myself this charming public park. I got up pretty early. There weren't a ton of places open. Even like cafes seemed to open a little bit later, like 9 or 10, at least in the area I was. So I decided to take a walk. Ended up in this beautiful park. And I think my next move is going to be just keep walking around, have a couple more bites to eat, trying to go to the cultural center, and then sadly return back to the US, walk over the border, and then just hop on those trains, take the same route, and I'll be home probably a couple hours after dark. Thought it'd be nice to get a little sweet piece of bread, so I went to Panaderia Venezia. Here are my 2 little twin loaves, and then I also stopped for a coffee at Ultimo Cafe. All right, back on like the tourist strip where I feel like I'm allowed to be a little more embarrassing, sort of midway between the park and some of my next destinations. I got a nice cappuccino from Ultimo. Good, I like their branding too. That like Stegosaurus, and here's what I got. First, I got the elote with pineapple. I'm just gonna go ahead and start with this one. It's good. Pieces of pineapple in the filling. The bread, only very slightly sweet and spiced with like, I'm not sure what that is, like star anise, fennel, some type of seed. And then next up we got the brioche con queso. Yum. With cream cheese, savory, toasty, chewy bun, really chewy, very good. Kind of like a French bread in texture and flavor with just like, you know, Philadelphia style cream cheese on the inside. But you could see glossy on the outside, airy on the inside. With the cream cheese, not unlike a good bagel. Oh, that was a great combination. Really nice cappuccino. And that's a cinco a la cinco in my book. And you know, we don't just do food on this channel. We also love art. We also love culture. Look at how pedestrian aware these drivers are, coming to a full stop at an intersection LA would never. That's an IMAX theater. That's just like the Geffen at the Academy Museum, a big dome. Here I am at the Tijuana Cultural Center. It's real busy. A lot of people are taking their like graduation photos. There's a sculpture here of the Mexican coat of arms, the golden eagle on the cactus eating the snake. So hardcore. I walked through the lobby of the cultural center out to the botanic gardens. It's just such a beautiful day. They had all of these cool sculptures. Native and I guess non-native plants too, because I saw you know, this tree, I saw that tree. I think this one's a loquat, which is like, you know, those are all over LA. So it's, you know, it's really not too different when you think about it. Reproductions of cool old Aztec sculptures. Then I went back in to see one of the exhibits inside, Museo de las Californias. You can see some reproductions of some cave paintings, not unlike the petroglyphs in Joshua Tree. I guess all cave paintings kind of look the same. And then they have some actual artifacts. You know your boy goes crazy for some artifacts. You know your boy goes crazy for some artifacts. You know your boy freaking bounces on it, backflips on it for some scale models of buildings. And here's a reproduction of one of those border markers that I showed back in the thing. Also, hello, model train. This is a model of the Tijuana Tecate train, which is like a tourist train that went from downtown San Diego to Tecate through Tijuana. It actually still runs today. There's a version of it that still runs, but you have to pick it up in Tijuana. It doesn't cross the border anymore. It did back in 2006 when Huelhauser made this episode of California's Gold. Man, Huelhauser.
This is an old train station.
I'm so like Huelhauser if he was like afraid to talk to people. Anyways, I caught a taxi back because I needed to check out and head back to the US, but not before I stopped at my next and final restaurant, the classic Caesars. That's what the interior looks like, but I was dining al fresco. Here's a look at the menu. This is like a real old-timey place with lots of great stuff, but I was there for one thing and one thing only. Cesar Cardini opened his restaurant in Tijuana in the 1920s while there was a big boom of restaurants and bars opening there because of prohibition in the US. And it was at this very restaurant that he invented the iconic Caesar salad. Just after I was seated, I was given a small ramekin of an olive tapenade with some bread. And before long, the cart came out because this Caesar is served tableside. Got the cracked pepper. Look at all those beautiful ingredients. Some fresh lime. There's that egg yolk. I mean, I was oozing too, just watching this thing come together, sitting there like a nice, polite little boy. And once that fresh dressing is made, all that's left to do is toss the leaves, and there you've got it, a Caesar salad from Caesars. Nothing more satisfying than pretending to be a brontosaurus and just chomping on some giant leaves. It came with this little crostini, crispy. I also ordered a glass of vino blanco to go. I was feeling kind of classy. You could order an additional side of anchovy fillets, which I did. I didn't really need to, but I don't know, it was like kind of fun. I was just having fun. We're just having fun here. Anyway, I finished it off. Every last bite, even the anchovy oil. The Caesar salad at Caesars was really good. It definitely was better than like your average Caesar salad, your like bag Caesar salad. The dressing was more mustardy. The egg yolk made it very rich. I got it with the extra anchovies, which frankly was unnecessary because it's like $10 for 3 anchovy fillets, which probably cost like 30 cents wholesale. But I don't know, I just thought it'd be fun. And like a nice classy meal with great service, really pleasant location, very old-timey, 1924. I wonder how big Tijuana was in 1924. I know LA was not very big. I can't imagine San Diego was very big either. Here's the numbers, you know, if you're interested. Tijuana jumped from 1,000 to 8348 during that decade, during Prohibition. San Diego was at 600,000 and LA was around 1.1 million at the time. But you could see architecturally very similar to like 100-year-old restaurants in LA. Makes you think. Anyways, Caesar salad at Caesars gets a 5 out of 5. Well, it's just afternoon. A real cold wind has blown in, and it's my time to start heading back to the border, back to the United States. I have to say, I'm sad to go. Right along the footpath, though, in between the city center and the border, is this artist market. Lots of handmade leather goods. It smelled very leathery, and all kinds of ceramics, beautiful painted ceramics and tiled ceramics, painted tiles, and I did pick up a couple little souvenirs. It was nice taking public transit. It took an hour and a half longer than it probably would have if I drove straight down, and I know people will park their cars in places near the border and then walk over. But I don't know, like taking the train was pretty nice and felt like part of the trip for me, and I had fun. I think there's other places I would visit before coming back to Tijuana, unless I had like a real good reason, but it is fun. It's like an easy way to just like do an international trip, like 2 half days, leave Saturday morning, come back Sunday evening. 5 hours of travel could get you to like Cabo, kind of, if you flew out of like Burbank and also lived in Burbank. But I mean, I had a great time. I have no idea where I'm going. There were signs. There are always signs. if you know where to look for them. So I'm kind of just trying to go back the way I came, even though I don't think I came a very good route. I don't know what to expect when crossing back over the border. There it is, the border wall, though, you could see from this overpass that goes over the road that goes through the border, which you can see is just backed up like forever. I mean, there was a long line to walk through too, like hours long line, but I did make it through the port of entry, no photography inside. It looked like this. It looks like an airport, and it would have been trouble-free had I not forgot the freaking tangerines, these little mandarins or whatever. I forgot there were some still in my bag, so I got stopped and they like seized my freaking melons. I don't know, whatever. I got through though eventually, and I made it to the light rail, which is just right there outside the border. I tapped in and really just chilled out.
Blue line trolley bound for America Plaza in downtown San Diego.
Got my last glimpse of Mexico. Before continuing towards the train station. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take for me to walk over the border, so I waited to buy my Amtrak ticket until I got close to the station. At that time, the train was sold out, so I just bought a beer. I thought about all the mistakes I've made in my life before I could catch the next train an hour later, right around sunset. Walked upstairs, found my seat, and just thought about the incredible couple days I had taking public transit from LA to Tijuana, Mexico.